Eli. Up next is Alex Lorimer, and introducing her is Grace Ashimwe.
Hey guys, I have something to tell you. Wait, never mind. Okay, so I was gonna say, Oh, now I remember. I'm here to introduce you guys to Alexa. While discussing with my panel for the speech, we were searching for an entertaining theme for the introduction. We chose to talk about the 7 things you assume about Alex that are probably true. Number 7, that squeal that you've heard from down the hallway, down the stairs, across the school, and all the way from Africa? Yeah, that's Alex. And no, it's not because of some serious reason like she sprained her ankle in soccer practice. It's because someone accidentally touched her hair. Alex's house is the most colorful place on earth. Every wall is painted a different color and has a different piece of art hanging on it. It outshines the freaking rainbow. If you open her closet, a leprechaun will probably pop out, kick you in the shin, then run up the stairs to some random room on the 3rd floor that I swear no one uses. There are so many pathways and entrances as well, so if you're not too careful, you may even get lost. Alex is a complainer. She's always been a complainer. She will always be a complainer. Just accept it. What? Alex is a workaholic. No joke. She loves her job. I've never met someone who loves working as much as she does. She especially likes to see people from school, so make sure you visit her at the North End Cafe on Frankfurt. Alex can't climb fences. One time during soccer practice, she kicked a long ball over the fence at Champions Trace. She decided to climb the fence because she didn't want to run around to the gate. She managed to get her shorts stuck and basically sat there for 2 minutes because every time someone tried to move to her aid, they only made it a couple of steps before they fell on the ground. Thankfully, Dr. T saw her, and when no one else went to help her, he finally got her down. In all honesty though, Alex is like the coolest person ever. She's a great and caring friend who would do anything for the people she loves, like driving a couple of friends around at 3 a.m. in the morning to visit other friends. You're going to have an awesome time at GWU, and the soccer team will not be the same without hearing your constant, "You guys!" Good luck on your speech. I know you'll do great.
Change is a concept I have struggled with. So far, I've spent my life wanting everything to stay the same. Unfortunately, life continuously changes and hardly anything ever stays the same. The major changes in my life all started a month before I graduated 8th grade from a school in Chicago, which I had attended for 11 years, called Near North Montessori. I was going to attend a new school for the first time in my life. I was planning to attend a parochial school in the suburbs of Chicago called Loyola Academy, which was an hour and a half away from my house, or a public school called Whitney Young, which happens to be where Michelle Obama attended high school. I was enrolled at both schools, and I was leaning towards Loyola until my family and I went to visit friends in Louisville. On this trip, we decided to look at some houses, and we found one that we loved. The decision for the high school I would attend in the fall of 2008 was made. I would join the class of 2012 at Collegiate. The move was set for my birthday, July 8th, and the first of many changes in my life began. Moving to Louisville was the first major change of many that would follow. I wasn't as afraid of this move as I normally would have been, because I knew that even if I stayed in Chicago for high school, my life would still change drastically. Attending Loyola would force me to get up in time to catch the 6:20 a.m. metro to Wilmette. So the move to Louisville made me nervous, but I realized I would have to face change no matter where I went to high school. Changing schools was especially hard because of how different and traditional Collegiate is compared to my Montessori school. At Near North Montessori, I was in a class of 25 students for all 11 years. Instead of having grades, we had classrooms for ages 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, and 12 to 14 were grouped together. Each class had one teacher and one assistant teacher who all taught the same subjects. Starting in 12 to 14, I changed classes once, 2 days a week to go to the science lab. We brought our own lunches and ate them in our classroom. We didn't have tests or quizzes. Instead, we did projects and followed our interests. In the classroom, everyone had a cubby, which was like a square box where we kept our personal belongings. We started school in the morning with announcements, and then either had history or language arts lessons, followed by free work, which was time to do our assignment. When I moved to Louisville, I had to adjust to the traditional school system Collegiate offers. I had to start taking tests, changing classrooms, having classes like history every day for 45 minutes instead of once a week for an hour. I had to adjust to using a locker to store my stuff in and having several teachers. I also had to make all new friends since I didn't know anyone in Louisville, which was difficult because I missed my old friends from Chicago. Everything about Collegiate was a change that challenged my way of life. From attending Collegiate, I have learned how to adapt to changes, embrace them, and then grow from them. This past summer, I decided to test myself in yet another unfamiliar situation because I wanted to go to Tanzania with a student travel company called The Road Less Traveled. I was a little nervous for the trip, but I wasn't really thinking about it until a week before my departure date. That's when I started doubting my decision to go. Did I really want to go to Africa for a month with a bunch of teenagers I had never met before? I truly considered not going and just staying home to do nothing. But then I realized what a great opportunity I would be missing out on if I chose to stay home. I ended up pushing myself to go, and I loved it. I formed a bond with the 15 other students that made up my group. We lived together for a month, and we became family. I got to know this group of people better than almost anyone else I've ever spent time with. On this trip, I was able to learn more about myself and understand what makes me function. I learned that in order to accept change, I had to step outside of my comfort zone and then embrace my new situation. Another major change in my life happened when I decided I wanted a job. I had never had a job before, so applying for a job was a new concept for me. I applied for my first job as a hostess at North End Cafe. When I first started working, I wasn't used to it. Getting up on weekends at 7:30 to get to work by 8 was a new concept to me. I was used to sleeping until I woke up on the weekends and then lounging around. This change has taught me more about responsibility and has helped me gain confidence in myself. This job has improved my life because it has expanded the circle of people I know in Louisville, and it has given me a life beyond school. Recently, I also decided to try a new sport. Sometime during the winter, I decided I wanted to play lacrosse. To be honest, I had never even heard of this sport until I moved here, and even then, I knew nothing about it. Choosing the sport was completely out of the desire to try something new. When I first went to preseason practice, I had several doubts, like, do I really want to do this? After buying the stick, I still had doubts, but I had already committed to the team, so I stuck with it. I'm so glad I made the decision to play lacrosse now, because I truly enjoy it. I have fun at practice, even though the rules still confuse me. I have embraced this change in my life, and I've learned how valuable it is to try new things. From my recent experience, I have realized how important it is to accept change in order to grow in life. I have discovered new interests like lacrosse, and I've experienced what it's like to move to a new city. I've gained confidence in myself, and I have embraced the concept of change. Change can be scary or disorienting, but by changing nothing, nothing changes.